Good evening, everyone. And you can potentially hear me with the fireworks to my left as the players are yet to come out. They're making their way, or just about to make their way. Just briefly before then, a firework display, classic Lewes style to my left, as Lewes and KSK Beveren are about to make their ways onto the pitch for this European occasion in the Fenix Trophy here at the Dripping Pan. They both played 2 games each. How this process works, it's a non-league footballing competition. And Lewes and KSK Beveren are a part of that competition. Of course, this season, the finals to be held in Italy. This year, there was a bit of a reshape. It's 4 groups of 3. In Lewes's group, of course, were KSK Beveren and FC Oslo. Of course, FC Oslo visited the Pan back in November, and it was Lewes who came away 1-0 winners, with Calvin Lumbombo Kalala scoring that header to seal the deal for the Rooks that evening. They then went away to their opponents this evening, KSK Beveren in Beveren, a small town located in East Flanders in Belgium, and they won 3-1. Goals from Luke Dreher, Arthur Penny, and Lumbombo Kalala. That saw Lewes 3-1 winners that evening. But tonight, just after the fireworks, the game will commence. To my left, can't see it on the camera right now, 2 men legally in the pitch, I must say, or legally in the stadium with fireworks that could go off at any moment. So I'm a little bit tentative to carry on talking unless I suddenly jump out of the blue, as the players now make their way onto the pitch. The Fenix Trophy, Lewes FC versus KSK Beveren. Moments away from kickoff in this Fenix Trophy affair. The side from East Sussex versus the side from East Flanders in Belgium go head-to-head to try and book a place in the semi-finals in Italy. The lineups to do that, with the home side in goal, of course, keeping his place, and the ever-present in the Rooks' goal is Nathan Harvey. It looks like it will be a back line of Ao Olakoga, Ronnie Vint, Arthur Penny, and on the left-back position, or in the left-back position, Sam Oganteo. And then a midfield 3 of Kieran Murta, Ao Olakoga, and back in the side for the Rooks. He originally signed on a 1-month loan deal that was then extended. It's the man that kicked things off in Beveren, Luke Dreher, who's back in the side after signing with the Rooks till the end of the season, with Marcus Soblia completing that midfield 3. And it'll be a front 3 of number 7, Ola Ogunwamadi, Jack Leahy, the new boy who signed for the Rooks. He makes his first home start and start in general for Tony Russell's side. And leading the line is number 9, Tommy Wood. Substitutes for the home side, back on the bench, number 2, Jake Elliott, Ryan Gonda, Sanchez Ming, Bradley Pritchard, and the man who have scored most of Lewis's goals in this competition, number 19, Calvin Lumbombo Kalala. For the away side, who have travelled all the way from East Belgium, is in goal, strange this, number 8, Ruben Smet. Number 3, Niels de Pauw. Number 4 and captain, Yves van Lokeren. Number 6, Yannick van Rooyen. Number 7, Jim van Osselaer. Number 9, Pedro da Silva. Number 10, Jeffrey Shelfoot. Number 12, Ward Hugens. Number 15, Karsten van Voren. Number 16, Jari Kokheit. Number 44, Daan van der Rijssum. Substitutes for the away side. Their substitute goalkeeper, of course, number 1, Mauro de Wilde. Number 5, Zinedine Douge. Number 14, Thomas Balogun. Number 17, Nick Smet. And number 22, Sem van den Broeke. So the stand to my right, filled of faces in red and black, with a slight or a few KSK Beveren fans who may have made the journey down. You can see plenty of tifos behind that goal, bringing the character in the opposition, including that big tifo that stretches back from the bottom to the top of the stand behind what will be Nathan Harvey's goal, the goalkeeper for the Rooks. So Lewes in there, or this competition, they favoured for this kit, all red. Beveren in their home shirt, ready to kick things off at the Pan this evening. The atmosphere is already loud and lively, which always adds to the excitement. And it's always a rare opportunity for these players who play in non-league, semi-professional footballers, getting an opportunity to play around Europe. A brilliant opportunity for those who won't be able to play football full-time, but still able to treasure in these types of memories and occasions. Lewes, when they won at Beveren, it brought the squad together. Of course, the result went their way, but it was still the overall performance which Tony Russell was very satisfied with and said it really improved, and it was obvious that it improved their home form and their form in general. There's Jack Leahy, the new boy for the Rooks. Already they're on the front foot through Ogunwamedi, trying to get in the box. Soblier strikes from distance, wide of the Beveren goal. So the goalkeeper, Ruben Smet, number 8, usually associated with a central midfield role. But this evening it will be for the opposition's goalkeeper. Some traditional football traditionalists may not be the biggest fan, but he's about to take the goal kick, the first of the evening. Tommy Wood, of course, leading the line for the Rooks. Ogunwamedi to his right. And Jack Leahy, the new boy, the number 16 for the Rooks. That's cut out by Luke Dreher, who finds himself back in colours for the Rooks. He sustained an injury which ended his time with the Rooks, albeit it did come to a natural end, but didn't sign a contract to keep him here after that injury was sustained. But now he's back, and he's back at the Pan. Jack Leahy already looking quick early on here as he tries to take it down the left, just cuts it back, tries to whip it in. Wood's there, gets his head onto it. Leahy will go over to contest with 2 players in yellow at the byline. Calls for a foul from the Lewes faithful around the dripping Pan. The referee sees nothing in that. Mark Gidman. Lewes take the throw quickly, but so far very loud to my right. Really enjoyable atmosphere here at Lewes this evening. Wood managing to wriggle his way out of danger. Kept alive by Dreher. Now Ogunwamedi. Lewes on the front foot early on in this affair, and it will be a corner kick. Ogunwamedi. So a corner kick early on for Lewes to try and open the scoring early on here. Ogunwamedi outside the box, drills it low, never troubling the Beveren defence. Their number 44, Daan van der Rijssen, the furthest forward. Harvey just spraying a pass out to Soblier. He sustained a nasty injury around the middle of the season, which kept him out for some time. Now finding himself back into the squad, his second start in Rooks colours since his injury. Ronnie Vint, of course, the captain, the man on the ball now. Back in the side after he was sent off 2 weeks ago in Lewis's 3-0 defeat against Billericay. Their form in the league hasn't been anything to shout about of late. Fairly inconsistent, 2 wins and 3 losses in their last 5. But the Fenix Trophy's given them something to shout about, and of course a win today will see them in the semi-finals. Ogunteyo's cross almost catching out the goalkeeper. He palms it beyond his crossbar, and it will be a corner to the Rooks, their second of the evening. So far, have barely looked to my right. It's been all Lewes in the Beveren half. So it will be Soblier on this near side to whip a ball in towards that back post. Surely the fans behind the goal think it's gone beyond the line. And it has. Lewes draw first blood. Fairly confusing, because the players are obviously hugging, which indicates that Lewes have scored early on here. It was a brilliant corner that managed to get the better of the goalkeeper, Ruben Smet, this time. Unsure who got the final touch. It looked like it was heading for that top corner. The referee, Mark Gidman, looks over to his far side, and the assistant referee waves for a goal, and the Rooks find themselves a goal up. Just over 5 minutes gone, and what a start for the Rooks, dominating possession. And Beveren find themselves a goal down early on after their long trip from Belgium. Heard that fans, in fact, have been up since 6:30 in the morning after getting a coach from the stadium all the way to the Pan. And you can now hear the Lewes fans behind Smet's goal. In buoyant mood early on here as they find themselves in the driving seat. Smet's ball is cut out by Soblier. Beveren with their first real spell with the ball, albeit deep into their own half. Van Lokeren, the captain, on this near side, just plays it out to that far left. Here is Jeffrey Schelvoet. Beveren trying to play it down the middle, but Vint says no. And Lewes's brief attacks just cut short there, but they managed to surge forward again through Ogunwamadi leading the charge, as he's just kept tabs on by Pedro da Silva. Now Soblier, Dreher, just behind Ogunteyo, but he brings it forward to Leahy. Carries on his run, but Leahy decides to go alone. Cheaply loses out on the ball, and Beveren come forward. Their first real go at Lewes, and they managed to win the throw-in. Jim van Ossela, their top goal scorer on 8 goals. And so far, the liveliest looking player for Beveren this evening. Ogunteyo manages to just intercept that pass from Schelvoet. Lewes come away with the ball once again through Leahy. That's a lovely layoff from Wood to Soblier. Can he get something onto it? Unable to execute that pass out to Ogunwamadi. And Beveren will have an opportunity to try and come again through Van Lokeren. Smet clears it, unable to leave the half. Ogunwamadi from deep. Wood with the layoff, just trying to play that return pass to Lewes's 7. Dreher leaps up to win that header. Wood, whose hold-up play is a big asset of his, lays it off nicely to Ogunwamadi. Olakoga picks it up and lofts it in. Wood unable to get any real venomous connection onto that header. Well beyond Smet's goalposts. No trouble for the Beveren keeper. And it remains 1-0, but if you had any real sort of connection, Smet was flat-footed. Could have found and doubled Lewes's lead. Smet just taking his time, teasing the Rooks fans behind his goal. He takes it that time. Murta gets his head onto it, albeit it goes behind him. Kieran Murtagh recently had a spell as a centre forward, typically a deep lying midfielder, but Tony Russell, the Lewes manager, has favoured Kieran Murtagh in the last 4 games as someone to lead the line for the Rooks. Unable to find the back of the net, which is maybe why he's back into that central midfield position, but still one similar to Wood, who is good with his feet. There's an eye for a slick pass, can control the ball. But Wood back in his favoured striking position after he makes his first start in a month. Last played, or started for the Rooks in the home game against Margate at the end of January. Beveren coming away. But Pedro da Silva's unable to find a man in yellow on that left-hand side, and it will be another Lewes throw. So far, there are 3 British teams, or 3 English teams in this competition, the Fenix Trophy. It's Lewes, Enfield Town, of course, play in Lewis's league, so they know a fair bit about Enfield Town as the side from North London. And then, of course, FC United and Manchester. All sides top of their groups. FC United and Manchester on 6 points after winning twice against Vinsky FC, aside from France. And Krakow Dragons, of course, from Krakow. Lewes leading the charge in their group, but Beveren coming forward in the meantime, trying to pull it back by the byline, but Lewes will welcome that as Jack Leahy picks it up in a central position. Oganteo out to his left. Here is the left back. Unable to execute that pass, but they win the throw, following that good slide challenge from Karsten van Vuren. Vint. Spraying it out from right to left here, the Rooks. Leahy. Sloppy there as Beveren tried to bring it forward as they managed to get it beyond Penny. Here's Van der Veersen. Trying to skill it around the players in red. Wins a throw in doing so, which will be taken by Van Vuren. Once again, Lewes are winning that second ball and suffocating Beveren, allowing them no real time on the ball, and when they do have a bit of time, they end up losing it or giving it away. But we've often seen this where Lewes can start off frantically, start off well and lively, and then just lose their sight on the game and end up disappointed. Leahy's looking lively so far, just shrugs off, maybe a bit of a push there on Van der Veersen. And he wins the throw-in. Leahy, back to Oganteo. Soblia looking up to try and curl one in. Has to be wary. Ogawamedi was there at the back post. He looked like he was second favourite, but he ended up getting on the end of that lovely ball. Whipped to that far post, getting in behind that Beveren defender. I think it was the left-sided player, Ward Huggins. It looked like he was going to be able to, or he believed the ball was going beyond the woodwork, but instead Ogawamedi didn't give up. Went in to try and poke it home with his first touch, just beyond that far post. Unfortunate there for the Rooks. Smet plays a nice ball out to their 15, unable to keep it in, Van Vuren. But they win it back. DePauw playing it forward. Direct here from Beveren, just unable to find that pass to Huggins. Picked up by Olakoga. Mata back to Vince. They're an interesting side, KSK Beveren, with plenty of history. Originally started out in 1922 and were once the national champions and won the Belgium Cup twice, albeit that was deep into the 20th century. Started out as a local team called Standard Beveren. Ended up having some financial problems and ended in 1931. Then 3 years later, a local pub owner received a request to form a team of players from Beveren and his own side, of course. That then saw the birth of Standard, as they went by with, and they called themselves Standard Beveren. And the players won. As a whole, they decided to form a new club, then called Sport Kring Beveren. That was in the late 30s. They ended up moving grounds, where they were until 2010. So for over 70 years, they were playing at the stadium, which is now used by second-tier Belgium outfit, Waasland Beveren, whilst KSK, the current side on the pitch, now use their training pitch for their home games. Of course, in that history, what stands out is the fact that just after the war, the Belgium Football Association decided to make a concept called emergency leagues. And at the time, who KSK Beveren were, they were seeded in that top league and ended up winning it. So do have claims of winning the Belgium first tier, albeit back in late 1940s. And of course, more recently, they felt they were unable to carry on after 2010. And then 12 years out of the game, came back in 2022, where they made an agreement with Waasland Beveren and started a men's team again. And last season was their first season back playing competitive football. Soblia coming forward. Can he fancy a goal? He does fancy an effort. Just testing Smet in goal. Fairly routine, as it didn't really have the power to try and beat him, but you could see what Soblia was trying to do. Just curl it into that corner. But Smet keeps it out his goal and keeps it 1-0 to the Rooks. Now, of course, Beveren, third in their domestic league, 7 points off top, just came off a 1-0 home defeat to SK Belair, who are in fourth. Lewes, of course, find themselves 10th in the Isthmian Premier Division. Four points off Enfield in fifth, of course, the other side from England in the Fenix Trophy, with one game in hand. And after the recent turn of results that the Rooks have endured of late, it doesn't feel too impossible to consider them to get into the top five. But so far their attention is on Italy, and it's on managing to see past this side. Beveren still have an opportunity to get into Italy, albeit more of an outside chance compared to Lewes. They require 2 wins out of their final 2. That's put into a dangerous area. What a save from Harvey. Point blank, denying Van Osselea, the top goal scorer for Beveren. And they've just come alive there, you can see KSK. A lovely ball into the danger zone, whipped in low. Nathan Harvey stretching, making his body as big as possible. And that opportunity came out of nowhere. Lewes let off, but Nathan Harvey doing what he's there to do. Lewes will have to be careful of that threat, as that's their first real opportunity, their first clear-cut chance. Falling to their top goal scorer. They wouldn't have wanted it to fall to anyone else. Just tried to steer it goalwards, which he was able to do, but unable to beat Nathan Harvey in the process. Oganteo trying to find Soblia, but instead it'll almost be intercepted by Van Vuren. The referee looking over to the assistant referee, as it is an offside. Beveren have a free kick from deep. The number 9, Pedro da Silva, playing in a central midfield role. Interesting choice of numbers. Murta, Dreher on the turn, looking up. Leahy just making a run from wide into the centre, but instead it'll make its way back to the Rook's skipper. Vint again. Penny and Vint enjoying a game of their own. Now Leahy, who's seen a lot of the ball. Oganteo just letting the ball run past his body, attracting the foul, and winning a free kick after Jeffrey Shelfoot brought him down. Lewes take it quickly, and they catch Beveren off guard as Leahy's in some room. Tries to put it in low, Wood is there, so's Ogunwamadi! In a very similar position to what we saw Soblia when he whipped in a ball. Ogunwamadi at that back post. Unfortunate. Just before then, of course, Wood had an opportunity to get on the end of that ball played in from Leahy. Fairly low, just unable to get any real sort of connection to steer it goalwards. Smet out to that left-hand side. Ogunwamadi managing to get on the end of that header from Vint. As he's up against Huygens. Manages to get the better of him, unable to beat DePau as he'll chase it to the byline. Concedes a throw in doing so, but he'd prefer that than a corner. As we approach the midway point of this first half, Lewes so far in control, as the scoreline suggests, but that chance from Beveren, where they whipped it in from that left-hand side, point-blank range, Nathan Harvey denying their top goal scorer, is the closest the away side have got. Oganteo. Beveren now with a throw. Da Silva just goes in short, but he'll aim to go down this wing. Flicked forward by Van Rooyen, but once again, Lewes win the ball back in a good area too. Leahy just collecting that ball from his colleague. Back out to Oganteo, who'll whip a ball in first time. Murta's there to try and get a flick on. You could see the idea. Mentioned earlier how he knows how to control the ball with his first touch, and that's a lovely bit of skill there from Ogunwamadi. Beats two players into the danger zone once again. Lewes really on the front foot. Tommy Wood down low, unable to find the back of the net, but Ogunwamadi with a brilliant play on that right-hand side, taking it in field, beating two players with such confidence. So far he's looked electric, just one thing lacking, and that's a goal to his name this evening. Hasn't scored too many goals, Ogunwamadi, since he signed for the Rooks last September. Scored on his debut in an FA Trophy affair against Lowestoft. But he does provide some power and speed down that flank. He can play either side of the wing for the Rooks. Can pop up wherever on that, in that final third. Oganteo never gives up running. Oganteo, Leahy's pass poor there. And Beveren have some room as Oganteo's caught up the field as they manage to thread almost a lovely ball through to the number 7, Van Osselea. The referee blowing his whistle as Kieran Murtagh is down, the number 8 for the Rooks. Just before then, though, of course, Oganteo, I said he doesn't stop running, but he was almost caught off there. Carried on his run to remain high up the pitch, but in doing so, left a lot of room in his typical left-back position, which could have been exploited, but luckily that final pass from the Beveren player trying to find Van Osselere was just in front of the Beveren number 7. And Nathan Harvey welcomed it all day long as play resumes. Olakoga is playing down that right-back role. Typically it'll be occupied by Sanchez Ming, who finds himself on the bench today. Jake Elliott too, but he also finds himself on the bench today. Murtagh, good footwork there as he just manages to wriggle out of a tight area, but Ogunteo's ball through to Leahy. Unable to find the intended target as he had the Beveren defender and captain Van Lockeren onto him. Smet just taking his time with this goal kick. Penny gets his head under it. And Van Lockeren gets his head onto it too, unable to keep that in. Lewes in the driving seat, but they will want to add to their goal tally so far, rather than spend the game with this slender 1-goal lead. Of course, they beat FC Oslo 1-0 in the game in November and had a very dominating performance, or gave a very dominating performance in that first half. FC Oslo, they came out in the second, as you'd expect, and played more of their game. Fairly dirty at times, very aggressive, but it did mean that the final 10 minutes were very worrying for the Rooks. And they won't want that to be the case here, but of course, Beveren are keeping them at bay from adding on to this lead. And can, and have shown, they can hurt Lewes, or potentially hurt Lewes. Nathan Harvey denying their goal scorer, or their top goal scorer. Lewes just forced to play it back and now look to try and get the ball up the pitch. Dreher on the turn, in some room beyond De Silva. Penny with his arms raised in the centre circle, but they opt to play it down the right and back to the centre halves. Oganteo in a central midfield role. Leahy hugs the touchline, and that pass from Sobley is cut out, unable to get the pace he would have wanted, but Dreher's there to help out his side. He gives away the ball as well. Oganteo stretches out his legs, and here come Beveren as it's kept in by Osselere. Cuts it round, trying to get around Penny. Brilliant defending as he wins the foul, and Beveren have their potential, any potential joy, cut short. Brilliant defending there from Arthur Penny. So it looked like they were going to threaten Lewes there, beating Dreher, then getting it past Oganteo as he was unable to intercept it. But Arthur Penny was there to deny Van Osselere of creating a clear-cut opportunity. Dreher looking up to spray it out wide. He'll find Ogunwamadi, and that's more brilliant skill, just unable to keep the ball under his spell, but Dreher picks it up. Brilliant drive forward there from Dreher. Ogunwamadi still looking lively. Murtagh getting a touch, trying to find a player in red. Instead, those in yellow come forward. Dreher looking good for the Rooks, number 14. Powerful, aggressive, winning the ball back and instantly looking to drive it forward. Beveren trying to thread a lovely ball, and they almost unable to get it in behind, and it's not able to be kept down by Van der Reysen. Brief flurry of pressure there, though, from Van Vuren, but Ogenteo comes away with it, and Leahy will play it into Murta. Just under a quarter of an hour to go of the first half, and it's Lewes who find themselves in the driving seat from their goal early on in the 5th minute. Still unable, still haven't found out who really was the player who scored that goal, as it was a bit of a scramble when it went in. Vint cutting that pass out. Ogenteo bringing it out wide. Leahy instantly looking to drive forward. Good passing here from the Rooks. That's a good run there from Ogenteo as he manages to beat Van Vuren. And then he puts one into the box, and it looked like it almost caught out Smet, but he leaped high to fetch that ball. Good organisation there from the Rooks as they just managed to get back into their shape. As players did get into the box, anticipating Ogenteo's ball. Beveren will have a throw. Possession is short-lived, though. They've been sloppy so far, Beveren. Unable to really get any control in the game. Haven't had any patterns of play where you felt that that's how they play, where they've shown their identity. So far, it's been all Lewes. Murta just holding off the captain, Van Lokeren. Penny's pass is almost wayward, and it ends up falling to their top goal scorer, unable to find Dreher. They managed to come away with it, Lewes. All credit to them. That's a handball from Wood, clear as day. But all credit to Lewes when they have been fairly sloppy and given the ball away. They've won it back in an instant. Haven't given Beveren the opportunity to breathe. They've suffocated them almost when it's come to try and win the ball back and win those second balls. And so far, they've executed their game plan very well. Beveren swarming over to that left-hand side of their attack. Smet will try and find the wide player. Instead, another Lewes throw. So far, the away side not really giving anything of their fans, or giving anything for their fans to shout about, as Lewes come forward. Olakoga trying to play the diagonal pass into Wood. Olakoga waiting for the ball, as he was cleverly anticipating the player going to press him. That would then open up some room behind. Back to Olakoga, now Soblia. Plenty of bodies forward here for the Rooks. Ogawamadi into Wood as he just tries to hold it up. He finds Soblia. Soblia and Murta linking up. Plenty of, everybody for or behind for Beveren. Murta, first time into Ogawamadi. Manages to find its way to Wood. Can he conjure something up here? Can Ogawamadi now? He'll have a go. Fierce strike. Unable to find the accuracy there from Lewes's number 7. Patient build-up, and then all of a sudden, Ogumwamedi, when he gets on the ball, will just try and light something up, just unable to execute that finish. Aiming for that far corner, beyond Ruben Smet's goal. Another goal kick. Ogumwamedi cutting out that goal kick, but DePau will clear it forward. Vint will get on the end of that clearance, and it'll end up being a lovely ball to Wood as he sprays it out nicely to Ogumwamedi. Oganteo whipping it in, headed away to Rayson. Shefut driving forward, and you could see the frustration here from the gantry as he was trying to find De Silva. The referee just trying to control this game, as you can hear him ordering the players around. It will be a throw for Beveren. Free kick, in fact. As they look to make something of this. Smet, the goalkeeper, well off his line as it's lofted in behind, finding their top goal scorer as he manages to pull off a strike. Promising effort there from Van Osselea. It was a clever ball in behind from the captain, Van Lokeren. Second opportunity, not as clear-cut as the first one for Jim Van Osselea. But still testing Harvey as he just came down low to fetch that ball, unable to really get any sort of power on behind it to really give something for Harvey to think about. But so far, when he's been called upon, he's passed the assignment, Nathan Harvey. So Beveren with another free kick, similar position to the last seconds ago. They go along the floor this time, but manage to get something promising out of it at the byline. Wriggles past Olakoga, puts the ball in a dangerous area, and the second pass, which refined that ball into the box even more, was unable to find a player in yellow. But very promising from Beveren there. So far, their set pieces, the two of which that have come from pretty much the halfway line, have managed to test Lewes and give something for their back line to think about, which hasn't been the case, or wasn't the case, for the first half an hour of this fixture. Murta clearing it forward as Lewes try to double their lead to have some sort of breathing space, as Beveren are starting to suss this game out and showing signs of trying to get an equaliser. De Silva trying to take it past Dreyer, but he gets a touch onto it to take it past him. Throw in for the Beveren. Murta flicks it forward, but that went to nobody. And it found a yellow shirt, and this is another good opportunity for Beveren from the right as it's a ball played in low from Van Vuren, but unable to have or to find a player in yellow. And now Lewes look to break forward with an excellent counter. Can they finish this off? Here's the new boy, Leahy, across the face of goal. A golden opportunity for Tommy Wood as he was sliding in to try and get on the end of that ball. Played across the face of goal from Jack Leahy. Unfortunate there for the Rooks, but a very efficient counter-attack. Had everything but the finish. And then Beveren tried breaking away and making one of their own counter-attacks. Down this right through Van Vuren. But straight out to play for Nathan Harvey to deal with. So unfortunate there for Tommy Wood. a man who was in some rich goal-scoring form around the festive period in December. Hasn't really gone to plan for him in 2024. And that won't help matters for Lewes's number 9, as Murtagh looks to be playing fairly central next to Tommy Wood. More advanced, Dreher doing the box-to-box work with Soblia alongside him. Penny into Ogunteo as they manage to come away with it there. Falls to them nicely. Penny holding off to Silva. Here's Wood, lays it off to Murtagh, just unable to find that pass. And now Beveren come forward. Ogunteo with some running to do as he heads back. But once again, just as Beveren get bodies forward and into a promising position, they lose possession. Dreher with a good run, playing it out to this right-hand side. So just over 4.5 minutes left of this first half. Beveren waking up, showing threat from their set pieces. But Lewes still remain with 1 foot in the semi-finals of the Fenix Trophy this season, which of course will be played in May. Typically hosted at the San Siro, but I've heard that won't be the case this year. Of course, Italy is known for its football and has still plenty of other stadiums to offer, but the San Siro would have been extra special considering it is due to be demolished in the coming years. So any time to play there, any chance to play there is very, very special. Leahy cutting in on his right. Here's Dreher. Murtagh looked like he was going to play it out to his right. Instead, he'll find Wood. He strikes one. Promising there from Tommy Wood as he manages to open up room to try and strike it into that bottom corner just past the far post. Wood closing in on Smet, but he thumps it forward with his left. Penny with a very controlled pass into Murtagh, and that's a brilliant touch. Just unable, well, he found Soblia, but he was unable to keep it under his spell and make something of that lovely collection of passes between Lewes's number 6 and 8. Winning the ball back, fire higher up the pitch. The referee, Mark Gidman, doesn't believe it was a fair challenge. And that'll cut short any potential hopes of a Lewes second. And Beveren have another set-piece opportunity from their own half, but Mark Gidman, the referee, keen to have some words with Kieran Murtagh. Kieran Murtagh clearly keen to have some words back with Mark Gidman, hence the second pause and play. But they've looked promising from these positions. Ogawamadi makes sure that isn't the case this time and plays a lovely ball forward as that's mistimed by Locheren. And here comes a good opportunity, but Wood was there again. But DePau, their left back, managed to get a touch onto that to allow, or in order to ensure that the pass didn't find the player in red. Good run there from Ogunteo, just unable to take it forward as he's fouled by Pedro da Silva. One of Ogunteo's best games so far that I've seen as a rook. Has really grown into that position since he's come here and looks fitter and fitter every game. Vint. So under 1 minute to go of this first 45. Lewes will wish they had more, or they'll hope they had more. Maybe they'll be wishing they had more come the latter stages of this game. So a throw for Beveren. Maybe a late chance to try and get the ball up the field in their favour. But so far Lewes are doing a good job at not letting that be the case. Murta to Dreher with a clever first-time ball to Leahy. That clearance all the way out of the parameters of the pitch. We'll see a Lewes throw. And the referee just blowing his whistle as Vint was going to surge forward there, but a Beveren player is down beyond the 45-minute mark. And there is going to be 1 minute added on. So it was in fact Arthur Penny who scored the Lewes goal 4 minutes in. So Arthur Penny has scored Lewis's latest 2 goals in this competition, albeit they are almost 2 months apart, or well over 2 months apart. In fact, he got the 3rd in Beveren and gets the 1st. And could it be the only against Beveren this evening? The second half will likely tell us that. It is going to be a substitution. Pedro da Silva is coming off very late on into this first half. Beveren keen to finish the half with 11 players rather than 10 and just play out the rest of the first 45. So they're forced to make a change. As their central midfielder is forced to make way. The players yet to turn around and see who has actually come on, but fairly big size difference compared to the man that made way in Pedro da Silva. The small frame of their number 17, Nick Smet. Their 17 has come on. The midfielder, a like-for-like change, of course. Cleared forward. Penny. No players around him, had time to assess his options, and Vint was the one he went for. Oganteo. Lewes looking to just play it round the back. Or maybe they could fancy a second. Referee looking at his watch. And that is the end of the first 45. Very solid performance there from the Rooks as they dominated the side from Beveren. A few good opportunities for Beveren, though, in the first 45. That gave something for the Lewes back line to think about, specifically that clear-cut chance early on in the first 20 minutes, falling to Jim van Ossela, who was around 3 or 4 yards out, side-footed it into the centre of the goal, aiming for the centre of the goal, but an outstretched Nathan Harvey denied him of opening the scoring for his side. But before that, and very early on into the game, 4 minutes in, was Arthur Penny who scored the goal, which is why it ends here in the first half. Lewes 1, Beveren 0. Will be back in just under 15 minutes for the start of the second half. But so far, so good for the Rooks. They've got 1 foot in the semi-finals in Italy. Welcome back, everyone, as the 15 minutes are almost over. So is the end of the action for Luke Dreher. Just after a brilliant first half, he has made way for number 2, Jake Elliott, another impressive player for the Rooks, has been an ever-present in that back four for Tony Russell's side. He replaces Luke Dreher, which would then suggest either Ao Lakoga, who's predominantly a central midfield player, will move into that midfield 3, or Arthur Penny will move into just behind or in front of that defence. By the looks of it now, Penny will be the one to occupy that Dreher role. Typically likes to play just in front of that back four. Whereas Dreher, you could see from that first half, very eager to get forward. And the atmosphere, one of the best it's been at the Pan this season. Electric atmosphere for this European fixture, as Lewes are a goal up against KSK Beveren, and so far they're on the front foot, starting the second just like they started the first. Surely Wood tests the keeper, but Wood was in an offside position. Unfortunate there, unable to find the back of the net. But brilliant play there. Played out to Ogunwamadi, Olakoga involved, Murta too. That first touch Murta has is a real positive for this Lewes side. Really benefits the link-up play that we often see with Russell's men. Of course, if you can't be here, we hope you're all good at home and enjoying it. Shout out to two real Lewes fans in Christopher Walker and Barry Haffenden. Good evening, gents, and good evening to everyone back home who was unable to attend today. We hope you're enjoying the game. Of course, the Fenix Trophy, what an iconic, or what a low-level but iconic competition it is, that offers such a great opportunity for semi-professional footballers to get a taste of European football. So shout out to you, gents, and hello to everyone at home. Elliott with his first touch of the ball. Here's Jack Leahy. Trying to find a second here, the Rooks, but Ogunteos just loses the ball, but they win it back. That was the narrative in the first half. Lovely run here from Leahy. Strikes it goalwards. It will be a corner, the first for the Rooks in the second half, and of course it was from a corner where they scored their first goal, the only goal this game has seen so far. Lewes have an opportunity to double their lead. It'll be Ogunwamadi to take on this near side, unable to beat its second man, unable to find a red shirt, and Beveren will try and break forward through their number 16, Cockheight. Tries to switch play out to that right-hand side. Here is the substitute, Nick Smet, who came on for the injured Pedro da Silva. Midfielder on for a midfielder. And they have themselves a throw on that far side now. One thing interesting about KSK was the reputation they built up in the early 2000s. Their club was in financial and sporting turmoil, but then that was heavily improved by a handful of players that were bought in. They had links to an Ivory Coast academy, which managed to find them players of the like Emmanuel Aboué, of course, who they ended up selling to Arsenal, as well as Javinho and Yaya Toure. That was all in the 5-year period between 2001 and 2006, and that arguably kept them alive for that time, got them through that turmoil. Wasn't enough to see them get through what was the temporary ending of their football club in 2010. But those three iconic players, especially Yaya Toure, Premier League winner, KSK Beveren can say they've had that calibre of player put on their shirt, which is always impressive for lower level clubs. Olakoga, Ogawamadi. Smet just occupying Olakoga, but it'll make its way to Soblia. Penny, first time into Olakoga. Promising here from the Rooks again. Olakoga forced to go to his left. Just tried to reverse it to Wood. Find its way out to Leahy on this left-hand side, who likes to cut in. Typical inverted winger. Vint. Ogawamadi just shimmying with the ball, teasing. Wood stretching out his leg, unable to find a red shirt, but it finds Vint as he's urged to shoot from the Rooks fans behind Ruben Smet's goal. Vint. Soblia managing to retrieve that unlikely pass. Ogawamadi. Oh, thanks. Oganteo challenged, fouled, free kick for the Rooks. An opportunity here for Lewes to go 2 up. There's an angle to it, but Kieran Murtagh fancies his chances. There will be the first yellow card awarded of the evening, as Mark Gidman shows a card of the yellow variety to the 44, Daan van der Reysen. Lewes have a free kick 7 minutes into this second half. Murtagh with an opportunity, could be Ogawamadi. It'll be Murtagh who drives it low, tests the keeper as Elliott just goes over to the byline to see that corner, but Murtagh managed to curl that ball through the wall, aiming for that corner. Instead, Smet came down to his left to deny Kieran Murtagh of his first goal in Rooks colours, typically red and black, but all red this evening. Soblia, another teasing corner, and another golden opportunity for the Rooks to score from one. My word, it looked like it fell to Arthur Penny again, who could have had a brace. It's Soblia's corners that are catching out this Beveren side, doing a brilliant job at lofting them in. The technique he's getting on them, really giving the Beveren defence and goalkeeper a headache. Elliott. But Lewes will want to start making these chances really count in order to ensure they get all 3 points from what has been a very convincing performance so far. But Beveren still have had their chances, not so many. But you can't rule them out until the final whistle. Soblia shimmying around Oganteo. Out to Leahy. Murtagh just keeping the ball at his feet. What a noise behind Smet's goal. Ogawamadi just trying to put off his defender with his trickery. Penny in towards Wood. That's a lovely turn. Just creates time for the Beveren players to get back into their own penalty box, however. But Lewes still come with the ball. Ogawamadi take it to the byline. Corner, another opportunity for Lewes, and especially Soblia, to try and cause some issues for the away side. Soblia, this time towards that back post. A player in red unable to get on the end of it, and Beveren with an opportunity to bring bodies forward. But Soblia, the corner taker, coming back and doing his defensive duties excellently. He gets the assist almost for Ronnie Vint, who is in plenty of room to the left of the penalty area, aiming to that far corner, just past that far post. Unfortunate, but excellent work from Soblia. What a game he's having. My word, Vint knows where the back of the net is. Scored a lovely goal against Hastings back in September. Similar sort of angle. Knows how to curl them with his right foot. Kept in by Smet. Stretched leg there from Osalea. Lewes, they've got an identity. Tony Russell wants to drill into their identity to play out from the back, and so far they're executing that plan marvellously. Soblia brought down, but fairly, says the referee Mark Gidman, as it's brought forward by the captain Van Lokeren. But once again, they lose out on the ball, and Lewes have got the ball in a dangerous area here for Beveren. Wood just tries to pull it back. A corner kick for the Rooks again. That's the trouble with Beveren. So far, you can see that they've just set up to try and hit Lewes on the counter, invite the pressure, and then run forward when they get an opportunity. But they're unable to leave their own half as of yet. Soblia with another opportunity. Penny's enjoy getting on the end of these Soblia deliveries, but this one is met by Vint. Ogawamadi tries to keep it alive, strikes at a goal, and there it is! Ogawamadi makes it 2! From another corner, Lewes make the most of that opportunity. And their foot turns into a step to book their place into the semi-final of the Fenix Trophy this season. The Lewes fans singing about their potential travels to Italy. What an opportunity for this club, and Ogawamadi has got on the score sheet to double Lewes's lead, to give them that bit more breathing space that they were asking for since Penny opened up the scoring 4 minutes in. Beveren with what feels like a bit of maybe a high hill to climb. Still not out of it completely. But Lewes in full control, and they don't look like giving up. Murta, Wood! What a save that is. Testing the goalkeeper is Tommy Wood. Ogawamadi has got on the score sheet for some time and gets his first goal for some time. Tommy Wood looks to try and do just that as well. Smet diving to meet that effort and palm it away. Got some distance on it after it left the hand of Smet too. Can Soblia make it a hat-trick of corners that end up in a goal? Finds the space. Tommy Wood was there. Heads it to that far post. Just beyond Smet's goal. But Lewes don't look like taking their foot off the gas anytime soon. Oganteo leaping to try and get on the end of that ball. Will be a Beveren throw. Elliott fizzing one into Murta as he stretches it out to this right-hand side where the second goal scorer lies. Penny. Lovely play here, but Olakoga and Wood just on a different wavelength as Olakoga just plays it behind Lewes's striker. And Beveren looking direct there as they feed a ball out to Van der Rijssen. Oganteo sprinting to get there before Daan van der Rijssen, and in doing so wins the foul, which will please Lewes, and they'll be happy with how this game is panning out here. Vint trying to loft one behind. Wood is there. The assistant referee's flag stays down. That was almost a lovely bit of play there from Wood to himself. Ogunwamadi trying to control it, but Penny, the favourite there to get that ball before a yellow shirt. Olakoga. Vint trying to loft it, and he finds Wood. He's fouled. It's another free kick. Frustration shown there by Niels de Pauw as the Beveren aggression is being shown here as they find themselves 2 goals down. Of course, Beveren's opportunities to progress will be completely vanished if they were to lose this evening, or as things stand, that would be the case. It originally was the case where 2 of the second best placed teams would go through, but now, of course, with the introduction of 3 more teams in another group, it's purely just the 4 winners, so top space or nothing. And currently, Lewes have got all 9 points from 9, which sees them top the pile. Of course, they've still got that away trip to FC Oslo in just under a month on the 20th of March to enjoy. Ogunwamadi, good strike as it curls into the grasp of Ruben Smet as he comes down to just collect that effort. Unable to find that corner, which he so desired. Nicely left there from Cockite. Elliott. It's a sloppy pass there from Ogunwamadi, who just gives the ball back and allows Beveren an opportunity here. First time ball into the substitute Nick Smet, but Lewes managed to come away with it, but Beveren just showing a bit of anticipation of the second ball here. They managed to wriggle out of trouble there. There's plenty of red shirts originally on this right-hand side, giving Beveren an opportunity. Ambitious effort there from Van Osselea. And an opportunity in the Lewes half, a rare opportunity for Beveren to try and pull one back and open up an unlikely comeback. Flick back to the corner taker from Thomas Balogun. But they're just unable to get that final pass out to the wide areas. You can see what they're trying to do. but their players in that final pass will just be on a different wavelength, which will then see one of the players in yellow run off to a completely direction to where the ball ends up going, which will frustrate Beveren. It just allows Lewes to rejuvenate, get back into their typical formation and start again, which is what they're doing now. Oganteo into Wood, who's just unable to execute that pass back. But Oganteo anticipates it and wins it back, and wins a foul in the centre circle following that challenge from Van Osselea. There is going to be a substitution. That is the end of the action for Jim Van Osselea. And on comes Zinedine Douge. So that is their striker, Van Osselea. Typically play more of a midfield role this evening. And he will come off for Douge. Arguably, there's no arguing about it, really. He had their best opportunity of the game in that first half, early on, as the ball was played into the penalty area from that far left side for the Rooks, down low. He tapped it with the side of his right foot, but Nathan Harvey made himself as big as possible to deny Beveren of what would have been a quick comeback goal. And would have made it 1-1 as things were at the time. But instead, Harvey saved it for his side. And Lewes have been in the driving seat ever since. Vint. Vint's pass is cut out by Van Rooyen. They win the ball back in a promising position here. Soblier into Wood, first time ball. Oganteo has to sprint over to the byline as he whips it in. Penny stretches out his leg, but in doing so opens up room behind him for Beveren to run into. But they're just unable to execute that final ball to the substitute Douge. Vint. Vince again. Now Leahy, who's had a bit more of a quiet second half than he did the first. He's now finding himself out on this right-hand side. Played on the left throughout the whole of the first half and the start of this second, but obviously a switch in wingers was a tactic deployed by Tony Russell in this second half. Likes to play with narrow fullbacks, Lewes. Olakoga and Oganteo playing fairly central, with Leahy and Ogawamadi hugging the touchlines. Just Murta waiting for an opening as Wood plays it back to Penny. Leahy looks to go on the outside, beyond the goal. And a goal kick without any threat posed by Lewes there. Of course, it is a bumper weekend for the Rooks. They are at home to Canvey Island on Saturday in the league. And then their women's play on the Sunday in a big game against Sheffield United. Beveren, of course, go back with a job to do in Belgium, albeit they are 7 points off top. They currently lie in 4th position and look to get back to winning ways after they just came off the back of a 1-0 defeat against SK Bel-Air, who of course are in 4th place. The referee, Mark Giddham, just blowing his whistle as the number 6, Yannick Van Rooyen, you could hear was in some pain. Just as the ball was on to the left of me. But he's back up on his feet, walking fairly gingerly. Hands on his knees as well. But no need to take him off. And Nathan Harvey has the ball back up under his feet. Ready for Lewes to now play out from the back as we approach the final 20 minutes here. It's Ogunwamidi's second half goal. That doubled the Rooks' lead after Penny put them a goal up 4 minutes after the kickoff. And Leahy squaring up here. This has come out of nowhere. My word, Jack Leahy having some words with Ward Hugans. The first word of Fenix, of course, it is an acronym. The first word being friendly. You didn't see that there, but it looks like both players are close there, maybe in proximity and not in terms of emotion. But Leahy clearly frustrated at what had happened previously, suggesting something had happened on the other end of the pitch. Both sets of players looking away from one another. They will both be going into the referee's book. Jack Leahy's had a very positive game so far. Both of them, of course, go into the book. The number 12, Ward Hugans. I think it was to do with a studded challenge. Jack Leahy, I think, was just letting out his frustration there. Can often happen in football when you feel like you've been fouled and the referee doesn't notice. And then when it happens again, more anger is let out than needs be. What's going on then? Now a more pause in play. And it's towards the Lewes bench as the referee walks on over to the assistant referee to have a conversation. I believe it's one of the Lewes coaches, not the two main men in Tony Russell and Joe Vines. Joe Vines typically involved in some altercations, but it is going to be a yellow card shown to one of the Lewes coaching staff, after words being said clearly with a fourth official. Slight jeers made around the pan as the referee, Mark Giddham, just takes his time to give out a third yellow card. Of course, that was to a member of the Lewes coaching staff. So not friendly scenes here in the Fenix Trophy, which is typically, or is an acronym for friendly, European, non-professional, innovative, and zenial. Zenial coming from the ancient Greek word xenos, which is the word examined for an attitude of resistance to strangers. So highlighting togetherness. So togetherness and friendliness, maybe not the two traits we've seen just now, after what has been a fairly well-moraled game. Corner for the Rooks in the meantime. And it will be another Soblier corner, which has proven to be Beveren's kryptonite so far this evening on two occasions. Soblier again, more distance on it this time towards that back post, short-lived as Vint fouled the substitute Zinedine Douche, and they're in a hurry, and you can see why, as Beveren tried to play it forward, but once again, unable to find a player in yellow, unable to keep the ball. That's what they've come to do. They've come to set up, to defend and to hit them on the counter, but they've been unable to make them work, be effective on the break, which has played into Lewes's hands as it's allowed them to just play out from the back again and assess their options as Vint goes towards that far side, towards Ogunwamidi. Poked away from him by the number 15, Van Vuren. So just over a quarter of an hour to go, as Wood is caught in an offside position. And it looks like Ryan Gonda, Lewis's number 10, is going to be coming on shortly. Douge. Elliott dispossesses Douge, and he gives away the foul in doing so, the man in yellow. So it will be another free kick for the Rooks. But just before that, it will be a substitution. Ryan Gonda coming on, and off comes Jack Leahy, who's had an impressive game so far for the Rooks. Of course, came on for the final quarter of an hour or just under in Lewis's 3-1 win away at Horsham at the weekend, and was given his first start, his first home debut for the Rooks. And Ryan Gonda will be coming on to try and make an impact and get himself around the pitch. 944 is the attendance of this evening of those at the Pan. We hope everyone is enjoying the stream and enjoying the game on the Fenix Trophy YouTube channel, provided by Your Instant Replay. And there is going to be another substitution for KSK Beveren, Daan van der Reysen, who will be coming off for Sem van den Broeke. So Sem van den Broeke coming on for Daan van der Reysen. Van der Broeke, of course, a midfield player. Coming on for Van der Reysen, who is typically a striker. Elliott just taking it beyond Douge. Vint lofting it up to a dangerous area. Soblier with an open net, and there it is. Lewes have a third, and it's arguably the player of the match, Marcus Soblier. 2 assists and now a goal to book Lewis's spot in Italy. Coming up in May, they're into the semi-finals of the Fenix Trophy after beating a Beveren side that hasn't intimidated them all game, bar one opportunity. But Lewes have had their foot on the gas from minute one and rightly deserved of a third. A rendition of Que Sera Sera around the Pan with We're Going to Italy, sung by those in Rooks colours. It was a lovely ball from Vint. Oh yeah. So just after that third goal, of course, to those of you watching from afar, a big shout out for all those who are watching from abroad. Clay Connor watching from Florida and Jeff Sheldon watching from California. Please let us know, engage, like, comment and share all. But hello to you gents as well and those at home. And it's Lewes 3, Beveren 0. Fair play to those watching in America. I don't know what time that could be out there, but it certainly isn't at the sociable time of around 9 p.m. like it is here over in the UK. Gonda. Vint Got the assist for the assist in that last goal. Oganteo trying to play it in. Lewes looking for a fourth. They've got a corner to try and get one. So here he is, Soblia. Can he get a hat-trick of assists? You'd fancy his chances to do so. Raises his arm and whips it in. Goes across the face of goal. Felt like it was begging to be attacked, but Penny just left it to just go out of play for a Beveren goal kick. But of course, after the 3-1 win against Beveren, Lewes were rejuvenated, went on a real good run of results. And they'll hope that the same will follow. They host Canvey Island on Saturday. They had a brilliant season last year. Not so much this season. Jake Elliott. Gonda hasn't really seen much of the ball since he's been on. He just slows down his pace and speeds it up to play it to his centre-back, Jake Elliott. Gonda put under pressure there and fouled. As we're into the final 10 minutes here. Marcus Soblia getting Lewes his third and confirming their spot in the semi-final of the Fenix Trophy this season. They'll look to try and get a clean sheet now, you'd think. But at the same time, they're also looking for a fourth. Vint. Soblia opens up some room, shooting distance on his left. Instead, he assesses his options. Murta with a lovely pass to Olakoga. My word, what a goal that would have been. Olakoga just had the goalkeeper to beat, but Smet came off his line. Good link-up play as Gonda puts it across the face of goal. Murta gets a touch, just unable to find a red shirt. It looks like there has been a goalkeeper change in the Beveren goal, which must have come after Marcus Soblia got his third, as Beveren tried to get their first. But that strike never troubles Nathan Harvey. A strike from Jeffrey Shelfoot, trying to get a consolation. Unable to keep it down. Nathan Harvey hasn't had much to do, if anything, in this second half. Called upon really on 2 occasions in the first. But it's been a quieter game for the man in goal for the Rooks. But when called upon, he's been there. Vint just drilling it out to Elliott. But there was a goalkeeper change. On came Mauro de Vilda, the number 1, which is typically more associated with the goalkeeping position, as opposed to the number 8, which of course was donned by Ruben Smet, the man that started the game in goal for KSK Beveren. Small figure in that Beveren goal, the substitute, de Vilda. And here's Gonda up against him. Cuts it in on his left, and he gets the goal. He gets Lewes's fourth. Beats de Vilda. Brilliant skill there from Gonda as he cuts it back, tees it up onto his left, and curls it in with some power. Lewes really enjoying the end of this European fixture. and what is really the end of their European campaign at the Pan, albeit it's not over in the grand scheme of things. Whether they'll be in the Fenix Trophy next season, who knows? I'm sure there won't be a Lewes fan that will say they don't want to be in this trophy, as it's providing them with some real brilliant memories. And tonight is one of them. Ryan Gonda making it 4. Was out for the majority of the season with an injury after the bank holiday weekend in August. His first goal for a long, long time, Ryan Gonda. Since I think the bank holiday weekend game against Bognor Regis back on the 28th of August. So it's been coming, almost, in fact, half a year. Beveren will just want to get this game over and done with. Of course, their fans will have had a good time. And no, by no means Beveren haven't. The game hasn't gone their way, but hopefully for them it's still been a valuable experience. The small frame of the goalkeeper just, in a way, could have been an advantage for Ryan Gonda. All he really needed to do was get a good connection and aim for that corner, and he did that, and he found the back of the net. And that's not to belittle the finish by Gonda either, because it was a brilliant finish too. Wood finding himself on the right-hand side this time. So just over 3 minutes to go of European football here at the Pan. Douge looking to try and create an opening from deep. Elliott playing it back to Harvey. He did have Van Voren onto him. Soblier from a deep position this time, and Penny playing like a number 8. Beveren come away with the ball, but that pass has too much onto it for Van der Broeke to run onto. Nathan Harvey will welcome that. Olakoga hasn't put a foot wrong. Involved in some clever bits of play for the Rooks as well. Most notably that link up with Murta. Elliott into Penny. Now Soblier popping up. Penny stuck in a twist there as he's holding his right ankle, but he's back up on his feet. Looked a bit concerning when he was holding his right angle, but he leaped up, but now he's gone back on the floor, which may be of some concern, maybe. So Lewes have done their job, the first to do it out of anyone in the Fenix Trophy, to get 9 points out of 9. Of course, Fenix Trophy this campaign. FC United and Manchester will likely be joining the Rooks in Italy. Enfield Town have a job to do. They've only won one of their games. Of course, they've still got 3 games to play. They won their game against BK Skold. And then, of course, Prague Raptors, the other side, top of their group on 6 points. So Prague Raptors, 5 minutes added on as the number 5 for KSK just loses out there and Lewes come forward. Of course, FC United and Manchester likely to join them. Prague Raptors too, as they're both the trailblazers. A crunching challenge there from Penny. Both the trailblazers in that competition, in their groups. And then Enfield Town could be joining Lewes too. So 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes left of European football this season at the Pan for the Rooks. Of course, they travel to Oslo on the 20th of March. And then the final in Italy and the semi-finals, typically in Milan. But this year, San Siro isn't the destination, so where it could be is unknown. But Lewes fans will be looking forward to when they find out where that destination could be, as the fans will then be able to book those flight tickets or whichever other modes of travel they wish to go by and end up having an extra summer holiday in Italy. Doesn't sound bad for the Rooks. Gonda to Penny. Back to Gonda. What a bit of play this is. As he just pops up on the right, left by Penny, as he was hoping either Murta or Soblia or anyone even was there by the penalty spot to just smash it home. Beveren come forward, as they're not giving up here. Here's their captain. That ball played back from Van Lokeren to the substitute goalkeeper. Every substitute has been used for KSK, including the goalkeeper. Lewes and Tony Russell only used 2. Of course, Jake Elliott and Ryan Gonda have come on, keeping Sanchez Ming, Bradley Pritchard and Lumbombo Kalala fresh for the visit of Canvey Island. Here's Smet. Lewes win it back, and they win the foul as well. Of course, Beveren did pose a threat in that first half from those set pieces, but it was the most threatening they got. Elliott assessing his options. So we're a couple of minutes away from the full-time whistle. Lewes just enjoying the ball at their feet. Met with jeers after every pass by the Lewes faithful. Soblia almost clipped there, but stays on his feet. Teasing Beveren here late on in their game. They'll be looking forward to heading home back to Beveren after this performance, as Lewes look for a 5th. What a way that could have been to end that immensely long passage of passes, which will please Tony Russell. Of course, the last time Lewes scored 4 here was in a home win against Enfield Town. Of course, the other side, the North London side in the Fenix Trophy. Wood. Gonda. Can they get a fifth? Chips it up to Wood. Neat there from the Lewes number 9. Across the face of goal. And that's trickery shown from hand to hand from Mauro de Vilda as he palmed it up with his right and kept it down as he cradled into his left. And of course, the man of the match, the player of the match, is Marcus Soblier, and that is the end of the action. What an evening for the Rooks as fireworks go off to my left, and you can understand why, as 4 goals have been witnessed here, all for the Rooks, and that has officially booked their spot in the semi-finals of the Fenix Trophy this season. Goals got us up underway. Arthur Penny made it 1. Ola Ogawamadi in the early on of the second half made it 2, followed by Marcus Soblier, the player of the match, making it 3, and Ryan Gonda finishing it off with a pristine left-footed finish into that bottom corner. So it ends here, Lewes 4, KSK Beveren 0, just as the fireworks ended. As mentioned and has been mentioned plenty of times, Lewes will now play in Italy. What an opportunity for the Rooks, a safe journey home to all those going back to Belgium. But it ends here for Lewes. Lewes 4, Beveren 0. They'll find themselves back in this competition in May. Take care, everyone. A good night from me, from the Dripping Pan.